See if this works. There we go. We got her finally. Holy crap.
Perfect.
Woo! Sorry about that. Technical difficulties again. Now let's see if people know that we're going to get back to where we were before. Because look, there was people already in this. See?
Oh, yeah.
So, anyways, let's get back to what we were talking about before. Yeah, we were talking about how bad the Flames are going to be. I think that's what we're going to do. We're going to do, hey, Kyle, we got one. We found her, buddy. We got it going now. Everybody's probably all aflutter. I don't know why it has problems with my stream all the time.
No, it's always your stream that has problems.
Yeah. It's always my stream.
I never once have problems with Streamlabs. Occasionally, but it seems to just stem from your Streamlabs. I don't know what it is. It's just Streamlabs hates you.
I don't know. But ever since I started doing Yahoo now, I haven't had problems. So it seemed like it was my browser that was causing the problems.
Yeah.
No, well, I didn't, and that's the problem. So I don't know how I opened 3 streams. I didn't. All I did is what I normally do, but it didn't work. It's working now, so that's all that matters. So today we are going to do. I think we were going to do the Atlantic and the Pacific Division. So
Pacific and Atlantic.
Yeah, go Pacific Atlantic. And the way we're going to do it is we're going to kind of pick a team from each one of them, and then everybody will tell us where they rank them. And then at the end of it, we'll average it all out, and then we'll go from there. So, but this is Payton on the radio, as everybody knows. We finally got him on. He wasn't feeling all well last week, and tried to get on last week, but wasn't feeling too good. So we're trying it again today.
Heck yeah.
I'm going to be going overtime anyway, so you don't need to worry about that. We are going to be going. I will be anyways. Peyton's going to have to go at the normal time, but I'm going to be going overtime for sure. So don't worry about that. But so that's what we are going to do. But let's talk about some things first because that's not going to take up too much of our time. We were talking about Calgary and how poor we think that they're going to be based on, not really preseason, but just the way their lineup looks. And the love affair with Goodbranson that how does this guy keep on getting a freaking job, man?
I don't know. It seems like the older GMs or older coaches seem to absolutely adore Goodbranson. I don't know how he ever gets into the lineup and plays the amount of minutes he does. Like, the guy's bounced around the entire NHL, but has never once, had a regular spot. And now I think he's probably going to be playing, a lot of time in Calgary, which I'm pretty excited because for me as an Oilers fan, I get to see McDavid burn Goodbranson so many nights.
Oh my gosh!
I'm excited because he got burnt by a couple AHLers on the Edmonton Oilers just the other night on Sunday, so I'm excited to see what McDavid will do against Goodbranson. So, I mean, Daryl Sutter, keep icing the idiots and the bums, so when we go up against you guys, we can just cakewalk you.
Oh,
thank you. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, Goodbranson on the ice, the same side. The only reason why Goodbranson should be on the ice at the same time as McDavid is like when they're doing the pre-skate.
Oh, yeah.
That's about it.
That should be the only time.
Yeah, that is the biggest mismatch of all time, I think. Holy crap.
Yeah, without a doubt.
McDavid could blow him away backwards on one leg.
And I feel bad for Yusuf Valimaki because from what it looks like on the depth chart, he's going to be paired alongside of Goodbranson, and Goodbranson can't play defense.
Oh my gosh.
Valimaki, last year, he just couldn't play defense, and he was just a shell of himself last year. So, I don't know. I feel like this year is going to be a year where Calgary is going to hurt, I think, a lot of players' development, and it's going to kind of hurt the team for years to come. Just because of the way that they built this team this year, it's so gritty, and it feels like this is a very old NHL team, if you get what I mean. This is a team that's built from like when the New Jersey Devils were a really popular team, when they had Brodeur and they had that great defensive team. This is but like this just reminds me of a Calgary Flames team, a typical Calgary Flames team where they try to get a lot of physical guys to, replicate what Montreal did this past season, and I just don't think it's going to work out very well for them. I don't have a lot of belief in them. When I first made, a video on them, I was like, it's not bad if they could get a lot of their centers going, right? It's preseason. I'm excited to see how, once it starts up in the. But if it's going to be as slow as what it looks like, they're going to get burnt a lot. A lot of these teams in the NHL that are fast, really, really fast. You look at Edmonton or Vegas, they're just going to burn past that Zadorov Tanev pairing. They're going to be way too slow. They're not going to be able to move the puck out of their own zone, right? The
Yeah,
only the only defensive pairing that will be able to move the puck out of their own zone is Hanifin and Anderson,
yeah,
and
and
maybe Valimaki
Hanifin.
a bit.
If Valimaki, I mean, I think he could have a better year, but not playing with Goodbranson, that is just absolute suicide for a guy's career. If he's got to prop up Goodbranson after a bad year the year before, and he's just 22 years old, and you're going to play him with Goodbranson, that is disgusting. That is
Mm-hmm.
so terrible for that guy. And then Christopher Tanev and Zadorov, are you going to play those guys together? Like, what are you doing here? I guess it's going to be Anderson and Tanev and maybe Hanifin and Zadorov. Like, that defense is pathetic.
It
Absolutely
really is. Like,
pathetic.
even if you do put Zadorov with Anderson, Anderson had a really rough season last year, and like, yeah, it's really rough. Like, you have to have a lot of players bounce back, and then your fourth line is Lewis, Richardson, and Lucic. Like, all these guys are old, and Lucic is slow. Richardson's starting to tail off. Lewis can't generate any offense but defense. Like, Dubé looked pretty well in the preseason game that he played. He was like the only guy that brought any energy to the lineup. Like, the rest of the players just looked really slow. And it was the first preseason game back for the Calgary Flames in like what, over a few months now. So it's understandable that they definitely need to get their feet underneath of them. And we'll see how well they do in regular season. But you can just look at the team's roster and you can already say that the top six lines for the team is not the depth is going to be a question, and their defense can March play good this year, and how well will Flower do as their back as well.
Yeah, no, I'm with you 100% on everything you're saying. That's their. I was just looking at everything they got going for their division. Um, I I think San Jose can blow up the water. Like I think Cowboys will be, but I would not be surprised, especially if Markstrom doesn't have a strong year again, and as it was before. I really and know it, you know what's the worst part about all this is
Mexico, no.
yeah, my mic's cutting out sort of crap, and I got it on the Yahoo thing, so I shouldn't have a problem here. But
Yeah, I think I was hearing you cut out a little bit there too, but yeah, I don't know where Calgary is going to place, but I don't know about San Jose, especially with the situation that they're doing with the Vander Kane, and then also hearing that Hurdle might be wanting out. Their goaltending is way better in San Jose, though. I feel like, especially if Aiden Hill is what he's supposed to be, and he really
yeah,
starts breaking out as a goalie, that could be a really good, solid tandem for the San Jose Sharks between Hill and Reimer. Now, their defense is a bit to be questioned about there in San Jose, though.
yeah,
Like, that defensive core is worse than what the Calgary Flames have. Just they can move the puck out of their own zone. They just can't play defense. Right? That's the biggest thing with them. Calgary can play defense, San Jose can't. They could play offense. They could, rifle that puck up the zone between Carlson or Burns. It's just can their top, can their forwards score those goals that they need to be scored, because now they're losing out, and one of their big goal scorers in Evander Kane, as he's not in camp right now, and he's a big question mark on whether or not he's going to be playing this season or not. He was one of their best goal scorers throughout last year, and now you might not have him in the lineup. And then also Hurdle, he might be wanting out of the team too. So you have another goal scorer that you might not have on your squad. I think San Jose could be near, the bottom of the division this year. And I made a video, I haven't uploaded it yet, talking about the San Jose Sharks, but I feel like this team could be near the bottom of the standings alongside of Anaheim this year.
I think they could, but there's something to be said about like a lot of the things you're mentioning here.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently, Evander Kane's really sucked the life out of that team last year
Yep.
and the year before, and a different energy and everything could see this team come together better than you think. I agree with you. I really think a lot of Nabokov as a goalie coach. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm pretty sure he put a lot of input in getting Hill. Hill reminds me of Smith when he was younger.
Oh yeah, Hill's a
Yeah.
really good goalie. I love the way that he played in Arizona. He put up some amazing numbers. I mean, he was
Yeah.
pushed down a little bit because of the tandem that they had going on there, but whenever there was an injury, he jumped right in and threw up some good numbers. 913 this past season or this year, and in the past season he had a 918. So I think this could be, a really good starting goalie for the San Jose Sharks moving forward, especially with Nabokov being your goalie coach. That's just even more, that's just even adds, pleasure to the pickup.
Yeah. He's like one of those warrior type goaltenders. He's almost like an old throwback as far as his personality is concerned. Uh,
Hmm.
what the heck? Do you know what? Somehow, and I don't know how this happened, my my thumbnail is my logo.
Oh,
I
what?
never did that. Yeah. What the heck? My thumbnail is my logo.
Oh yeah, I see that. Yeah,
How is that?
maybe you
I
didn't
never
throw a
did.
thumbnail in there, so
Yeah, well, I'll leave it like that. That's kind of cool for now. What the heck? But it shouldn't be. It doesn't show that it is when I go to edit it. It doesn't show that it's that, but whatever.
hmm.
Anyways, that's funny. Um, so yeah, I think that that's possible. I give San Jose more of a chance than I do Calgary, to tell you the honest truth. But I just and
I like their
with Anaheim.
offense a bit better in Calgary. Like especially if Evander Kane leaves and you're saying that, a lot of the issues why this team was so bad was because of Evander Kane, and they get that Rudolph Balster, he starts popping off because he was doing really good in the AHL. You got Nick Bonino now, who just seems to make players better, right?
Yeah,
And if you
he
get
does.
John
Yeah.
Leonard going, you could have a lot of things go right, and this team could do pretty good in this division. Now, I
Yeah.
don't know if it's going to be a
Myers
playoff
have a
team.
bigger.
I don't know if it's going to be a playoff team, but I
No, I
think
don't
they
think
could
so.
finish, like, if they really, really do good. I think maybe fifth, sixth is probably their mark for the San Jose Sharks this upcoming season. Maybe even fourth, but I don't know. Like, I have. I could even see Kraken taking that spot. I'm definitely not downplaying the Kraken this year because of what Vegas did years ago. I don't think I'm going to downplay the Seattle Kraken just because I don't know what they're going to be bringing, but I'm excited to see what Jared McCann, because he was looking decent in that first preseason game. And analytically, Jared McCann, you know, does look like a very good player.
Yep,
Um,
absolutely.
his
I don't know why people keep on giving up on McCann. I have no idea.
I don't
Uh,
know either. Like, I don't know why Toronto's like, oh, let's pick him up and then give him up for free because we want to keep Kerfoot. Like, what are you thinking, man? Like, McCann was way 10 times better than Alexander Kerfoot. McCann actually still has potential to develop his offensive game. His defensive game is elite, and he only needs a little bit more to go for that offensive game. He already
his
has
offense
the
is
finishing
okay.
machine.
He's okay.
Oh yeah, his offense is okay. He did pretty well this year. 43 games, he had 32 points. He's starting to develop that offensive game. He's starting to get better and better each and every season. Right? You look at the time that Pittsburgh acquired him, what he had 17 points in 32 games. The next year he had 35 points in 66 games, and in this past year 43 points in 32 games. He keeps going up, especially from Florida to Pittsburgh. He keeps going up point production wise, and his expected offense is very talked about that could break out for the Seattle. Could play center, could be wherever you need him to play.
Yeah. If you guys are fantasy guys out there and you're doing like one of those deep, deep fantasy groups where you get like, 10, 12 rounds, I would pick him.
Yeah. And
Jared
then
McCann. I would pick Jared McCann in the late rounds of a fantasy.
oh
Yeah,
yeah, why
probably
not?
nobody will probably touch him, and I wouldn't be surprised if he does something like breaks out and has a 50 or 60. I'm not saying he's going to, but if there's
He'll
a
be a good
guy that could
solid
do it,
second line guy, especially if you don't have Wenberg popping off. Like I think Wenberg was a pretty bad pickup for Seattle. But I mean, if Wenberg goes back to what he used to be, which I don't think he will after the past few years that he's had, but Jared McCann could potentially be that first line center. Either that or a good top line winger for the Seattle Kraken coming into this upcoming season. But the biggest thing that I like about the Kraken and the reason why I think they could push that fourth, that I think they could definitely push that fourth overall spot without a doubt. Even the third overall spot if Vancouver, his defense can't get their crap together. I could see Kraken pushing into that third overall spot just because of their defense alone. When you say you have Vince Dunn and Adam Larson together on your first pair, that's pretty damn good. And then Giordano and Alexiak, if Giordano could get himself going again this year, that's a big if because he is getting older. He is getting up there in age. He did have a regression in his play this past season. But you have Carson Soucy and Hayden Fleury, who also, Carson Soucy had a great analytically year with the Minnesota Wild and looked amazing out there. This defensive core looks really, really solid into this upcoming season. Their
yeah,
offense doesn't look that bad either when you add in Jaden Schwartz and Jordan Eberle as your goal scorers. And Jordan Eberle looked really good as an offensive powerhouse there for the New York Islanders.
yeah. I think Everly kind of needs people. I'm not huge on the offense. I don't know. Schwartz has got to stay healthy for one. I love him as a
Mm-hmm.
player. The guy's like plays the game with reckless abandon, which is what causes problem with his injuries. But I just think up the middle they're in trouble and all that
Oh
kind of
yeah.
stuff like that. And it's going to be a low-scoring type of thing. I don't know what Hackstall is going to be. My inkling is he's going to be fine. But there's so many question marks with that Seattle. That is my, and it should be because it is an expansion team. But I don't think they're going to make it though. I don't think they're going to make the playoff. They're in that division myself.
And that's why they'll probably get fourth, and they'll most likely won't get a wild card spot because of the Central Division, most likely.
Central is
That
going to be pretty enormous,
right,
yeah.
like I think Seattle probably outbeats Calgary unless LA does really good because LA could be a very quiet team. We haven't really talked about them very
Oh,
much because if Peterson gets himself going, that defensive core gets themselves going, and that top six alone there for the LA Kings, I really, really like. And that if Arvidsson could get him back into himself where he could throw up 20, 30 goals this season, this team without a doubt would probably be near a playoff spot. Because if they could play way better defense than what, the Vancouver Canucks can, and Drew Doughty even said himself that he believes that this team is a playoff team this year. And that's the thing with this specific division, you see two spots basically locked up between the Vegas Golden Knights and the Edmonton Oilers, unless the Edmonton Oilers totally fall off. But like you have two spots that are already locked in. You have one spot that's open to basically every single team in the Pacific Division, but for like maybe Anaheim and maybe San Jose.
Yeah, I think Vancouver will likely make it to it because they got so many. See, the thing about the other division is, it's going to be such a battle every night. Like there's going to be, I think Vancouver, Edmonton, they've got a little more, few more bottom feeders that they can feed off to get their points up. So, they Anaheim and
See,
stuff
my
like
big
that.
thing with the Vancouver Canucks is they have a great top six, kind of the same as, the LA Kings. It's just their depth. Can Podkolzin get himself, like, will he be that lethal threat that he was thought to be? Because if, he's not that lethal threat, will that, bottom six, that top nine be something, right? You're going to be relying a lot on Hoglander, who was amazing last year. I'm definitely not saying he isn't. Jason Dickinson's a really good defensive center. We'll have to see how that will pan out. Their defense is something to be on the cusp about. If Hamannik's not going to be able to come back this year, and if they're still having problems with signing Quinn Hughes right now, will that go into the regular season? And then you're ending up having to rely on Oliver Ekman-Larsson and Tyler Myers, and then Tucker Pullman will be in your top four, and
That's
you'll
ugly.
levy,
Tucker Pullman
right?
being on your lineup at all. Yeah, no, their defense is definitely going to be a problem. Demko is going to get a lot of rubber. I just think that they'll outscore the opposition a lot. And I think Hughes will be back for sure.
Mm-hmm.
What I was Lauren said he would seriously consider go after Giangelo. I would too. I think Giangelo would be a great late pick on fantasy for
Ethan
sure.
Bear too.
No
Um,
problems.
Ethan Bear too. I've been hearing he's up on like the top lineup of camp, and Rod Brendermore's been praising Ethan Bear big time for his passing and the way that he breaks out the puck. Even Ethan Bear would be kind of a low key good fantasy pick in those deep leagues.
Well, Brendan Moore is smart because Ethan Bear had a difficult time with his confidence last year, so he's gonna pour praise all over Bear, guaranteed, no doubt about it. So,
Oh, and I think
he's,
Ethan Bear is an amazing defenseman that, the Oilers shouldn't have traded away. And
I
I think he's going to be fitting in great with the Carolina
I think
Hurricanes.
he's another Petrie. I
Yeah,
think
I
they
think
made a
so too.
huge mistake
I
again, just
believe
like
so
they did
too.
in Petrie. Yeah, just
I
like they
believe
did
so
on
too.
Petrie. I don't know
They're
if he's going to be quite as good as Petrie, but it's going to seem similar to that again. Just another. I mean, even worse actually, because they got they got a defensive winger that probably will be a third 3-4 tweener. I don't think Fogel's going to put up a lot of points in the NHL. I don't think he's
No,
a
he'll be a 30-point guy probably every single year. Guy that puts up 15 goals, 15 assists. That's what he
maybe.
put up last year. He'll probably put up consistently around that point, maybe break 21 year, but I see it with you. I think he's probably a third liner. I know a lot of Oilers fans believe that he could maybe push the second first line. No. Warren Fogle is a third liner with Ethan Bear. He had that potential to be a good top four defenseman. He really did. And it's hard to come by right-handed defensemen that are really good like Ethan Bear, who play a good solid two-way game like Ethan Bear, who can break out the puck but also can play really well defensively. And that's hard to come by. And we traded it away for a third liner.
Yeah. So, okay. Now, let's get into because honestly, I really have not really wrapped my head around how it's going to be this year with
Me neither.
with the wild cards, okay? So, we'll go central right now we'll go central and Pacific, okay? I'm not saying this is who's going to be in there. We're just going to say hypothetically speaking, right?
Hmm.
Hypothetically speaking, say Colorado, Dallas, Chicago, Minnesota have, and then Edmonton and Vegas. They all have as many points. They all have the most points in the two divisions,
Hmm.
right? So now, if Nashville or and St. Louis have more points than the other, does that mean that they get in? Is that how that's working, or is it the top four on both sides, and then they go by who has the most points after that? Is
Oh,
it
okay. So
possible? Is it possible there could be like only two out of the Pacific that actually make it because of points? Is
no,
that how?
so I think it's always the top three. So the top three in each division automatically make it into the playoffs. You have
Right.
the first two seeds to play against the two wildcard teams. So in the Central Division, basically, if there's the fourth and fifth seeded teams in that division, outbeat the team in the fourth place spot in the Pacific Division, those two fourth and fifth spots take the wild card spots
Okay,
if they have
right.
more points than the fourth overall spot in the Pacific.
Right. Okay. So it's possible that only three get in from the Pacific, and then
Yeah, and
they're
five
all
get in from the
and
Central.
five get in from the Central. Right.
Yeah.
Okay. I was playing like an advocate to basically have that explained as well as you did. So okay. Um, so that's basically what we're looking at when we choose these. But in this case, we're just going to go the top three. We're just going to go who's going to be in the position, and then we'll talk about where they'll line up afterwards. But who's going to
Hmm.
be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 in the Central, and where we're going to do Pacific and Atlantic is what we said we are going to do, right? Pacific and Atlantic. And then
Yeah.
tomorrow we'll do Central and Metropolitan, which you may not be part of. But um, we'll do Pacific and Atlantic. We're going to be doing Pacific and Atlantic today. And then, through that, we can talk about all the teams. So how many people do we have in the stream now? And our stream seems to have come together now.
Yeah, we got 6 people watching. Hey, everyone.
Hey, everybody. Payton, Bill T is in the house. Good. We got 6 concurrents going.
Heyo. I think this preseason game looked pretty good. It was a lot of fun. Can't wait for the one tonight.
Yeah, he was doing live stuff.
Yeah, I will
And
be alive again tonight for the Kraken and Oilers. McDavid will be on the ice, so
I'm not really a big preseason guy, but I'll probably tune into that. I want to see that for sure, no doubt
I
about it.
love I love I don't mind preseason hockey, but it's nice to be able to see some hockey and fans back in the stands too. That's the nice thing. You get to see fans in the stands for a lot of these preseason games, especially for the Canadian preseason games. We didn't get to see fans all year last year, so I get to see some Oilers fans in the stands.
Mark Stone's not playing tonight. That doesn't really mean all that much, though.
Well, he actually got shot like in the ear.
Oh,
He
did
got
he?
yeah, in the last game there he got shot like right in the ear. He took a puck to the ear and he went off the ice not looking too good. So hopefully he'll be all right.
Oh, here's a couple more injury notes. Bode Wild is loaned to Vastrevics. Where is that? Uh, is that in the KHL?
What was that? Hang
Bode
on, for a
Wild.
while.
Bode Wild in the New York Islanders. They're sending them to Europe. Sweden. I wonder why that is.
He was one of the unvaccinated players, so I guess they're
Ah.
sending him off to the just relegating him off to Sweden.
Oh boy.
I don't know if that's why, but who knows?
Yeah, and I saw something about Doc here too. Don't want Doc to be getting any more injuries.
Oh, please no.
No, he's back to 100%. Okay. Whew.
Sweet.
I want to I'm not I don't care what fan of what team you are.
I want to see Kirby Dog back in
Oh
the lineup
yeah.
this year.
If he was in Calgary, I'd be I would watch just to watch that. I'm glad he's not. They would probably trade him anyways, but uh, I love Kirby Doc. Absolutely love Kirby Doc. I was just looking at, so it doesn't really mention much here about Stone, so it can't be all that serious. I don't see it where it's serious.
No,
It probably just was stitches and whatever, and they're keeping him out for now, because that would suck for Vegas in a big
that
bad
would
way.
suck.
But he's fine. Okay, so the way we're going to do this, I guess, is we're going to pick a team. We're going to go each team, and everybody in the stream right now is going to tell us what place they put them on. Because you all did your homework, right? I told you, do your homework, have it all figured out. You tell me what place in the division you're going to have them. You're going to put that team. And then Peyton and I will yamble on about the reasons why we think we're taking ours, and then we'll go on to the next one and the next one and the next one. And then we will take an average, and then, of course, at the end of it, I'll do a video about it. Now, I was doing those videos where we all made a video together here and stuff like that. And the first time I did it, man, I was getting views like crazy. And now it's like back to normal again.
That's usually how it is.
Yeah,
It blows right up at the beginning and then it starts just going down.
yeah.
It's always how it is on YouTube.
My dog ate it. Yeah.
Nice. We better come up with some answers quick.
Yeah, yeah, you better come up with them quick, buddy. All right, I'm going to put it up on my phone so I can see what's going on here. Um, I'm just glad the stream's working. Thank God for that.
Yeah, me as well.
Okay, so we'll start with the Pacific Division, since we have Oilers fans here as we speak. We'll go from we'll just we'll go by alphabetical order the way they have it here. So Anaheim, and you have one, two, three, four, five. One, two, three. Is this 8 teams in this division? Eight
Yeah,
teams. So
8 teams in every division, so
Anaheim, where do you have Anaheim from 1 to 8
I think
finishing
it's
in this division?
dead. I think it's dead. I feel like it's got to be dead last for them this year. I see every other team, looking at Calgary's better than Anaheim. Of course, Edmonton's better than Anaheim. Same with the Kings, Sharks. Yeah, I think I would go with Anaheim as bottom last this year. They did last year. Their defense is trailing off. They get Zegras in the lineup this year, but is that going to bring enough offense to the point where this team is going to move up, 1 or 2 spots in the division? I don't think so. I think this team will most likely be, near the bottom of the division.
Pagine, you're going to do the average on this, buddy? Lauren says 8. Weichel says 8.
Yeah, most people are choosing 8.
I'm going to say 7. So I don't need to tell me the average is on that. But I think Anaheim, there's some possibility. I don't know, maybe 8. You know what? I gotta go 8. Because what's happened is or Manson, they trade Manson, possibly Larson, maybe even Gibson. Really holding the difference forever and ever. It doesn't look like they're ready to take a move in at all. Why these veterans any longer?
Sound is should regulate itself here again.
Should what? Excellent connection, so I don't know.
It should regulate itself again.
Yeah, it'll regulate itself. Okay, so there's no reason for Anaheim to keep on these bets.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that's the best spot for the Ducks. I mean, there's no point to keep these bets like back this team again. Like it's time to start trading away. You have Lindholm, who's a really good defenseman. You could trade him off. Same with Shattenkirk. Madsen. Same with Madsen's value. Offering first. He fell off a little bit. He's not that good of a defenseman as what he used to be. He used to. I believe the Anaheim Ducks are probably going to. And I've been hearing that the Oilers have been on, on John Gibson a lot. So I hope we which would be really nice. Might be a pain.
How that? Okay. Here now. Okay, so
Just moving my Wi-Fi.
um, yeah, so the average was definitely 8. Uh, unless it would be like 8 point something. I think that was. I was just gonna ask like Jeff. These guys are. Can you hear me now? Everybody hear me now? I can just shut the NDI sources on and off to see if that would work. I really have no idea.
Discord. I had a Skype call.
Yeah, I don't see where. You know, I look over my NDI sources. It works fine.
I don't know why. I don't know
Now it sounds
why.
fine.
Keep breaking up. Yeah. Oh, there we go.
Stream bitrate is lower than the recommended. That's a suggestion. Their suggestion is
Not using the video capture your webcam in to the live stream. The live stream.
say that again.
Turn off your video on Skype, and then just do it. You
I turn on my video on Skype.
that, and then once you turn on capture device, and you just turn off your NDI source, and you just put your webcam. Be
Yeah, there's nothing else you can do. You can use what are you saying?
Did you mean to
What are
call
you
me?
saying? Video? It'll work for you because it used to. So I just use NDI source for you, and so I. On. Now I won't. Now it won't come up on video capture. Oh, okay, that's right. I gotta turn off on Skype first. Okay. There we go. Okay. Okay, we'll try it like this then. I did not know you could do that because before it would always echo all the crap. So that would explain it then. So we're good to go. No echoing, no nothing. Let's continue. Now it's not working. Oh, I probably, you know what? No, do I have my video capture device on? Yeah. No, I don't want.
There you go. My mic's on now.
Now audio input capture. There. Now it'll work. Now it'll work. And you are working. So we should be good.
Yeah, sounds good.
Good. Woo! All right. I didn't know it like you said before. I always thought it was going to echo if you did that. All right. Next, we learn something every day.
Yeah, usually if there's an echo, you'll be able to find it like in the Streamlabs audio. Like I have like my mic going
Now
on
you guys,
Streamlabs and then the NDI
now you
source.
guys are echoing.
Oh, turn off your sound capture device maybe. The one that you turned on.
Turn on my sound capture. My audio input capture?
Yeah. Did you? Because your. Hang on. Because your video capture device.
I don't.
I
had my video
get
capture off.
Yeah. Do you have like one of the mic ones? Do you have like in your mixer you have your desktop audio and in your mic?
Now let's try it. The NDI one was still on. My NDI source one was still on. Now it should be okay.
Yep, it sounds good.
Perfect.
Perfect. There you go.
Now it should. Now there's no echo. All right. Okay. Well, there you go. I learned something today.
I learned something on Streamlabs.
Got something for my thinkings. Okay. Now we're back to.
Yeah, it's always better if you're not, live streaming your capture from NDI source. It's always clearer if you do it from the actual video capture device.
Now that was weird because before it used to echo when I used to do it like that. Now I got to get my
Oh yeah.
Safari up again.
Now we can get back to the division talk. We were on Anaheim there. Do you want to move right on to Calgary?
Well, that's the next one in the alphabetical order. Yeah, sure.
Yep. Oh, Calgary, Calgary. God, this is a tough one. I know people have had them. I've seen people's predictions of having them placed at fourth. I feel like it's a toss. I could either see him at fourth or fifth, but I could most likely see him in fourth. Nor in fifth, I mean.
Yeah. Okay, I don't see them that high. Okay, Calgary guys. Now that let's people come back here a little bit. Okay, we got. They stuck through all of that. Look at these guys. They're freaking rock stars. I'll tell you. Calgary's easy for me. I got them 7.
You got him seventh.
I think they're terrible. I really think that team is brutal. And just like you said, I think they're going to ruin them. I think this is going to be a stain on Sutter's career, and finally Treliving will get fired. Those are my bold predictions for the.
Ooh, man, you're thinking that they're gonna have a trash of a year, and I kind of believe that. I could see this team having a real trashy year this year. You could see them. I don't know. It's tough because I guess you could say LA over them without a doubt, especially if they get that offense going. But I'm just gonna say I'm gonna place them in fifth because I feel like if LA, it's a safe bet if LA doesn't perform the way that they should perform. I think I'm gonna go with Calgary in fifth this year. If they play a good physical game. If Majapani plays really good, because that will be a big player, and same with Kachuk and Goudreau, if they get themselves going and they're able to, light it up and have, some decent centers there with Monahan and Mikael Backlund, I could see them place fifth, but I could easily see them fall down to sixth, without a doubt. But I'm going to go with fifth.
Okay.
That's the way I'm going to go with it. It's kind of funny. Like, your small little logo reminds me of, like, that Snapchat logo.
Oh, yeah.
From, like, far away, just with the yellow and everything.
5.7 AV. 5.7 AV.
Yeah, I can see him around there.
Yeah, I really think it's going to just all go to crap for them this year. I don't see Monahan getting any better. I did like the Coleman move. I think it's a little rich possibly, but it just seems like a mixed bag of nothing. Like there's really nothing that it doesn't seem like a cohesive unit.
Nothing makes sense.
No.
Like what they did. Coleman just felt like, oh hey, he's a good playoff guy, good warrior for the team. But if this team's not a playoff team, then what's the point of picking up Blake Coleman? Like there was no point to it, but for the fact that it was another winger. You needed centers, and Blake Coleman can play a little center, but he's mostly your speedy winger. That's what he brings to the team. He's a speedy winger who produces a lot of goal scoring and plays a very physical game. The length of the contract might come back to bite you later on if the team is going to be rebuilding, but this team needed centers more than ever, and there wasn't a lot of available centermen in this past free agency just in general anyways. And the only guy that was available was Jack Eichel, and they weren't able to get him. And I just don't know where you go about it with the Calgary Flames, but for the fact that, why not rebuild? You're seeing Shane Wright and Connor Bedard coming up. Why not rebuild?
Yeah,
I would be tanking hard for those guys.
Yeah, this is the time. I mean, you can trade Backstrom, you can trade. It's not like Calgary Flames fans are not going to go to the games. I'm sorry to tell you, I hate it because I don't like it because I'm an Oilers fan, so it just seems like I'm piling on Calgary fans because I'm an Oilers fan, but I'm not. They're dumber than heck. I'm sorry. Like, there's no excuse for it. Like, okay, Tampa Bay, I can talk to those guys and they don't quite get things and stuff, but they just started like in hockey, you know, maybe, you know, and it's an American stuff like that. But Calgary Flames have had a team for a long time, and they've really, they'll keep on going and they'll keep on thinking their team is good every year. Like they always do, right?
It really is that. Like they every year it's like a new slate. They're like, oh, last year we'll perform better than what we did last year. Our team looks better, and I'm like, what? Like you added Coleman and Zadorov, and you think that's better? I mean, yeah, sure, like a little bit. Like Coleman's a nice pickup, but you didn't pick up any centers. Like that was the thing you needed the most. Monahan, Backlund, and Lindholm are not first line centers. They're all second to third line centermen, and Monahan's been going downhill for the past few years. He had a horrible year last year. He's had a horrible past 2
Yeah.
years. And you're expecting him to have a bounce back game? I don't know, man. I remember, you know, living in Calgary, and a lot of fans, they had high hopes of the team, you know, every single year, which I respect. You know, that's great to have high hopes on your
Sure.
team, but you know,
But
you
but
gotta
to
be
be
realistic
but to be
of your team
blind,
sometime.
to be blind, like
You gotta be realistic.
yeah.
You've got to look at your team and be like, what has Monahan brought for the past 2 years? What has Johnny Gaudreau brought for the last 2 years? What is Milan Lucic? I got Oilers Flames fans texting me when we bought out James Neal. Oh, we won the Lucic trade because you bought out Neal. Like, what?
We
You still have Lucic on the team.
Ex-
we don't have Neal on the team.
Yeah.
We
We
don't have
win.
Lucic on the
We
Oilers.
win.
We win.
I don't think you get this. The one that could get rid of that contract the fastest wins, and we won. Okay, next, talking about it. Now we're going to talk about Edmonton, the Edmonton Oilers, and I think I'm going to surprise you here, actually, a little bit about where I have them. But so everybody in the chat now, we're going to give you your number for the Edmonton Oilers, and what do you think for the Edmonton Oilers?
I think it's a toss up. Like I could see this team placing in second, but I could also see the team placing in third, just depending on how everything goes. But also one note before I do get into picking, Tippett for some dumb reason wants to put Devin Shore and Kyle Turris as the wingers for Ryan McLeod. Blows my mind instead of Cooper Marody and Tyler Benson. It just blows my mind how we're going to be playing Kyle Turris once again this year. Anyways, I think the others will most likely place in second. But if the goaltending goes really bad and Smith just does not play the way that he was last year, I could see this team placing in third, maybe even dropping down the fourth. But I could see them placing in second.
You got second. Okay, well, I got him third, so I'm not surprising you. CL's got him third too. I got him third. I hope I'm wrong. I really hope, like, if Smith can play well and stuff like that. But like you, I had high hopes for not Turris, but for Tippett when he came in. Now, Turris apparently really crushed it in the gym all summer. That would be awesome. It would be awesome.
Yeah, it would be awesome.
But I mean,
Devin Shore? Why?
Devin Shore, I don't know what they love affair with Devin Shore.
Why do we have why do we love this guy so much? It's so weird.
Yeah.
Like Tyler Benson, he worked his ass off all year long. The amount of work that he put on his skating, like even in the first preseason game that I looked at him, he was skating hard and all over the ice. And for some reason, we're not putting him in the opening night lineup. That's just, it's a joke for me.
Oh my gosh, Eugene has him fifth. Woo.
That's if it goes bad.
If it goes really bad, yeah. And it's possible. It's possible. Like I said, I had high hopes for Dave Tippett coming in, but I don't anymore.
Same.
I could see him. I could see him absolutely ruining this team.
Same with Holland.
Yeah.
Even though a lot of Oilers fans are like, "Oh, Keith is like the second coming of Jesus, and we're gonna be good defensively, and he's better than Larson." Like, what are you guys on? Like, why? Why do you think Smith is gonna have another incredible season when this was his first season in like 3 years that he played good? Duncan Keith hasn't been a good defenseman for years. Cody Ceci has just sort of become a good defensive defenseman, and we're putting him alongside of Duncan Keith. Like it. I
We're
love the
putting
team. I'm gonna have high
We're
hopes of
putting
it,
CC
but
and Keith together.
yeah,
Oh my god.
that's the defensive pairing.
Wait till they see what CC does outside of a Pittsburgh system that has players that come back and practically play.
Oh yeah,
play
just wait until he
defense.
has to carry Duncan Keith defensively, and he's in his back end while Keith is off in La La Land.
Well, and not only that, like his first pass out of the zone is absolutely disastrous. CC's like he's, man, it's what.
And Kyle Mercer, I totally agree. There is too much offense for this team to place below
Yeah,
fourth,
I
but
agree.
it can go bad.
I agree.
Like you could score the amount of goals you can, but if Smith and Koskinen can't save the puck and we can't play defense, things can go really bad.
Yeah. Yeah, no, and okay, yeah. I mean, I think. See, this is why I would say we have very knowledge. We have a very knowledgeable group that comes in here, and they you could definitely see they are. I would say the Oilers are one of the big X factor teams out there. They're the one with those teams that could just crush it and be first.
Well, that's the thing. Like the biggest question is Bouchard.
That is a big question, yeah.
Like Bouchard is the biggest X factor, and that's what even Tippett said, and even I believe Evan Bouchard is the biggest X factor coming into the season.
Yeah.
If he blows up and becomes that top 2 defenseman that we need him to be, then you don't need Barrie, right? That's the thing that ticked me off, and a lot of people are like, "Oh, like Tyson Barrie was a good pickup and all this and that." We didn't need Tyson Barrie. No matter, yeah, sure, he led the defenseman in points, but he's crap defensively, and we had Evan Bouchard coming up the pipeline.
Yeah.
Like, where are you going to be putting Barrie and CC? You're going to be putting CC as your top 6 defenseman, making $3.25 million. It's like Chris Russell 2.0 again.
Mm-hmm.
Like, why are we doing this to ourselves? And, I just don't like what we're going to be doing, especially if, Tyson Barrie does go down to play in the top 4 when Evan Bouchard evidently comes up to play with Nurse. We're going to be having Keith and Barrie. Whew, that's bad.
Oh, if they're on the same line together.
That's bad, man. You basically have to stick Barrie alongside Nurse the entire season for the rest, until Keith is gone. Because you can't rely on Barrie and Keith. Because if you watch clips of Keith playing defensively last year, he was so bad. He pinches at the wrong time. He doesn't know what he does. He doesn't know where to play defense. He gets circled around because he's too slow. He's like a Branson, but like Keith. It is so bad how he plays defensively, and a lot of Oilers fans actually believe that he actually is a good defenseman, and that blows my mind.
I think that it would be okay, because I think a lot of the clips you see are when he's really tired. It would be okay if he played 15 minutes a game and stuff like that, but
that's the problem. He's not going to be, though.
Happen. I know.
He's going to be playing like 20 minutes a game, basically.
Yeah.
He's going to be playing up where Adam Larson probably played, 18, 20 minutes a game, right? Like, he's not going to be the top 6 defenseman. Maybe if Slater Cuckoo, pulls off a miracle and plays really good alongside of Bouchard, and that's our top 4 pairing, then perfect. But that's asking a lot of those guys to become our top 4 pairing this upcoming season. It was dumb of us to pick up Duncan Keith in the first place when we could have just, stuck with Caleb Jones or with Slater Cuckoo and just be like, yeah, these are our top 4 defensemen. That would have been a better idea. Oilers fans are like thinking that Duncan Keith was the best possible option when he was not. Duncan Keith was not our best possible option. We could have went with a lot of other options. And I know we're in Oilers. Not a lot of people want to sign with us. But hell, we had younger defensemen coming up the pipeline, and we could have played it patient. But Mr. Holland wanted to get a veteran like Duncan Keith who can't play defense and who is trailing off. His game is not there very much anymore.
Yeah. Well, guess we should get to the next one.
Yes.
Next, we have
LA.
The LA Kings. Okay, where do you got the Kings?
I think I got them at 6th, right underneath Calgary, but I could see them also taking 5th. The team is really good. I like their second line. They got Dano and Arvidsson. The defense looks all right. They got to get, some things going with their defense. Drew Doughty has to play good this year, but a lot of their younger defense are stepping up. But I think I'm going to see them placing 6th this upcoming season.
All right, I'm gonna let a few people put up in here. Let's see, Hajin 3, and I'm gonna blow everybody maybe out of the water. I think they're gonna be second.
Woo!
I
Yeah, you did this last year, didn't you?
Yeah, and
You
my
thought they were gonna.
mistake was they were a young team in the COVID time with the condensed schedule and all that kind of stuff like that. But this year, Kaliev and Kupari could have been ready last year, but they didn't want to put him in that situation. I read up a lot about on it. They could have played last year, but they didn't want to put him in that situation. And in the background with the Kings, they were just like, you know what, this is probably not our time to really put too much stress on these young guys, so we're just going to let it roll, take another draft pick, and go. This is a year, I think. This is a year where I think they're going to crush it. And I love Peterson. Now, that being said, Peterson goes down with injury, forget about it.
Oh yeah, without a doubt. Like that's the biggest thing. It's like there's a lot of big questions with LA, and that's why I wouldn't put them up high. But I could totally see them, placed higher than other teams this upcoming season. That's why I say like the Pacific Division is such a you could pick between Calgary, LA, San Jose Kraken, and Vancouver on who's going to be making it in. Right, like any of these guys can make it into that third, fourth spot, maybe even second place in the division. It's a totally wild division. But I'm gonna place LA down in the sixth. I can totally see them place higher though.
This division can go in a lot of different directions. I agree, but I just think everything sets up well. I do like the acquisition of Dan L for now. I don't know what it's going to look like when you've got Byfield and all these other guys coming up, though, right? Like, where is he going to fit? But for now, I kind of like it. I almost think they picked up Dano with the idea that they're going to trade him later.
No, I think they picked him up with the idea of him just playing as the third line guy and just being really stacked up the center because he's on a no movement clause for the next 3 years, and then he does go right into a no trade clause. So like maybe that is their plan of maybe trading him off to some other team, but this could be a guy that I know it's $5.5 million as a third line centerman, but if the salary cap goes up, that might be the price of your third line centerman here in a few years.
Yeah.
And that could be a really even maybe they're even thinking of maybe when Kopitar's gone and they have Byfield and then Dano. Or and I mean once Turcotte jumps in, maybe he's their second line guy, Dano drops down to be their third line guy. And that would be a crazy, crazy good third line centerman for the LA Kings if that does happen.
Yeah, you got Byfield, Turcotte coming up right soon. He kind of bridges the gap, and then they can go from there. But what I like about it is Kopitar finally gets the opportunity to be an offensive center again. That is the reason why I got him so high. I think Kopitar is going to crush it this year with that opportunity to do that. That it changes things a lot. If they wouldn't have got Dano, I probably don't have him that high. I think the Dano factor, just because of Dano, period. I think he's an excellent defensive center that can put up some decent offense. I think he's a little overrated offensively, but he's a good defensive guy. You know what he is? He's kind of like kind of reminds me of Bonino. Bonino doesn't get enough credit for how much he has done for teams in the past.
He's amazing defensively, especially Pittsburgh with the HBK line. That line was amazing, and Bonino was a huge part of that line. And the reason why it worked out so well was Bonino.
Yeah.
Bonino is such a huge part of every team he's played, and he's two-way, and that's the same way Dano plays. He's just when you have that good defensive player playing alongside of two great offensive players, it just seems to make a great line. And Dano did great there in Montreal, and I'm excited to see how well he'll do in LA.
Yeah, what did we have for an average? 3.5 average?
3.5 average, yeah.
3.5. Okay. I don't think I got some of the. Okay, that's all right. As long as I know what the average is, that's the main thing. But yeah, I mean, I could be wrong. They still could be a little too green for this. And if they were in other divisions, be a little different. But I think they can feed off a lot of these teams in this division, the way they're set up and how they play, especially up the middle. They can kill like a team like Seattle.
I give LA. I don't. have as much belief in them this year, but I feel like, this year is a big year for them on whether or not, like, they could have a 50-50 year. Like, they could either be really good or they could be all right. But I feel like the year after this year, they're going to be a definite playoff team without a doubt. I feel like LA is going to take a strong step up this year, but they're going to even take a stronger step up the next year, especially maybe even Quinton Byfield jumps into the lineup this year and he gets a little bit of time in. I'm quite excited if he does. But I feel like the year after this year, Quinton Byfield is probably a full-time NHLer, and you have a lot of these young guns that we've been talking about for years jump in, and this LA Kings team might just be unstoppable, to be completely honest, once they start stepping in.
Well, they still have cap room, and they can add all through the season. I think defense are going to probably add somewhere along the line, but yeah. Anyways, we'll see if I'm correct on that. But all right, next we'll go next. What do we got? We got 45 minutes.
San Jose.
We still got the other division to do, so we better get
let's fly by it
in here. Yeah. San Jose Sharks.
I like the team. I think I'm gonna have them at 7th. I don't like their defense. The goaltending is all right. I think that'll help them a little bit and maybe even push them to that 6th spot. But I see them placing in 7th this upcoming year, or maybe even 8th, depending on if things go bad.
Gene has an 8th. I don't think they're going to be. I think the energy is going to be different. I think it's going to be a little better, but actually, it's almost better that it's not better. Sort of, it would be better for them if, like, my pick for Calgary to be 7th is the best thing that could happen to them. Well, not best. If they were last, it'd be even better. But they really need that. They need that influx of talent. And the Sharks do too. This is a deep draft, so it'd be good. Whiteshell says 8. Yeah. I got 6. I think Hill's gonna save some games for them this year. I really think it's a good move for them to get Hill. I said the energy is gonna change, and they'll be a little. Actually, they weren't terrible. There were some times last year where they looked like they could have been all right, too. So they were somewhat competitive. I kind of have them as a team that could surprise this year, just because, like I said, all that energy. If Meyer has a better year, Meyer had a terrible year last year. Hurdle could have a way better year because obviously he was not happy with the whole situation that happened with there. And there was a bunch of players that weren't happy with Kane there. So.
Oh yeah, without a doubt.
And when you're not happy, you just don't play as well. Lauren says 7th or 8th. Which one is it, Lauren? 7th or 8th? I can't put 7th or 8th.
It's basically like a 7 to 8 average, basically 7.5, basically. Because if Lauren goes 7th, it's almost like 7.5, basically.
I'm gonna be live streaming till probably 6 Eastern, but Payton's only here for another hour or another 45 minutes. So.
Yeah, 7.3 average for the Sharks.
7.3 average, okay.
And the Kraken.
Yeah, Seattle.
I got them placed at 4th. I could almost honestly see this team could possibly, surprise a lot of teams. I like their defense. I'm a really big fan of Vince Dunn and Adam Larson, and I think that defensive core will be a great, especially their goaltending with Grubauer and Drigger. If they play as well as what they did in Colorado and Florida, they could really carry this team to, really high heights. Their offense, of course, like you were saying, has some big questions, but I really quite enjoyed. You got some good, players that I think could possibly break out. Mason Appleton, I think could potentially be a player that could break out for the Seattle Kraken because of the fact that he was always put down in the top 6 there for the Winnipeg Jets and really wasn't given, that big ice time. And I think he could potentially be a player that breaks out. Same with McCann. I think he's another player that could break out. And then, of course, you got Eberle, and then hopefully you have Jay Schwartz that stays healthy there. But I quite like their offense, and especially if they, play a good defensive structure and, get that little bit of offense from Eberle or McCann or Donskoy. I think I could see them placing 4th.
Okay, Seattle's got 6th. I got 5th. I just don't think the offense is going to do it. I think the defense is okay. I think it's just an okay team. And honestly, in the back of Francis's mind, of course, he's come out and said he thinks this team's going to make the playoffs. Blah blah blah. What else is he going to say? Is he going to say?
Of course.
Of course he's.
I mean, every team is gonna. Every player, even Doughty said that his team's gonna make it to the playoffs. Every player believes that their team's gonna make it into the playoffs.
Yeah, the general manager is going to say that of a brand new team. I mean, he's not going to tell season ticket holders, "Well, we're probably going to tank this year." So, it's not. And I don't think they're totally going to tank, but I think the team was mostly built up. I think ultimately they would like to trade some people like Eberle or Donskoy for some high draft picks at the deadline and stuff like that. I thought it was built sort of that way. And if it doesn't work out that way, and that's the other thing, I'm not totally sold on Grubauer. Not totally sold on that yet. He had his problems in Washington. He had a stellar defense in Colorado, and now this is huge for him. This is a big.
This is a huge year.
This is a huge year.
It is, and I'm excited. I mean, the defense there in the Kraken are still very, very solid there too, and like with the Vince Dunn pairing, then you get Alexiak. I think they're pretty well off defensively, but I'm excited to see how well Grubauer will do there.
Yeah. All right. I guess are we on our last one? Vancouver now? Is that last?
Yeah.
Or no, we got Vegas.
2 teams left.
Okay, Vancouver.
Vegas and Vancouver, I see them placing third. Now, of course, there's some big questions. If Hamonic does drop out, I can see the team placing lower. But if Demko has a really good season, like how he ended his last year off, and if they are offensively deadly, I can see the Vancouver Canucks place third. Just that defense is a big, big question for me. It's like the Oilers all over again, but I can see the Canucks placing third. I can see them either swapping between Kraken or the Canucks.
Yeah. I got them in the fourth spot for all the reasons that you said. I think they're going to sign Hughes and Pedersen.
Without a doubt.
I'm not really too worried about that. They're tough contracts to do right now, especially if Hamonic chooses not to play. That's it. That would certainly go a long way towards it. But I just a defense like you. It's even if they have Hughes, they're kind of like the Oilers. They're going to have to outscore their opponent. I do like Demko.
Yeah, they do.
I do like Demko though a lot, but if Demko gets hurt, forget about it. Halak is just not.
Oh yeah, Halak is not. He's not there anymore.
He's not there anymore. And yeah, if Demko gets hurt, they miss the playoffs completely for sure, no doubt about it. But Demko is very beastly, and I think he could certainly at least keep them in that playoff spot, or at least a fighting chance to make the playoffs. It wouldn't surprise me if they don't make it, but because of the other division. But it's gonna be a fight tooth and nail, I think, for Vancouver to make it in this one. CL says fourth.
Yeah, I think like the Knox, they got a lot going for them. If their offense is like you said, is the biggest thing. The depth, can the depth play really good? That's also a big thing. And their defense. Can they keep the puck out of the net, or are they going to run into the same problem that they ran into last year, where they can't keep the puck out of their own net? You know, that was the biggest problem that they ran into. So if they can't play defense this upcoming season, then, I know a lot of Canucks fans where they thought, their defense improved a little bit. It didn't. You think Oliver Ekman-Larsson's going to be a good defenseman? I can't wait till you get to watch him, because he was winded at camp. I know it's camp, but like he did not look very good, and I'm excited to see how well he'll pan out.
If he's out of shape,
I just don't think
has he given up the.
He was out of shape hard.
God, they're screwed.
He was like slower than anyone else in the bag skate.
So
he was like so winded.
They traded Eriksson, the winded one, for the new winded Swede. Oh my gosh, that would be absolutely abysmal. If that's the case, then I think I should actually put Vancouver lower. What's the average, guys? Who's got the average here? We got to move on to Vegas, who everybody but Weichel's going to take first.
Oh yeah, they're first. They're first without a doubt. That's an easy team. I like the Patrick move. Dadonov, I think, was a good move for depth. Leonard and Brossois, I really like that as well.
Yeah, I got to get the average for Vegas.
Fourth, third.
I didn't write them all down
second.
because I was Hajin was loading up and going off on it, but
he's waiting for Reichel to make his pick. I also really like the move of Connor Garland. Connor Garland should be really exciting there in Vancouver as well. I'm excited to see how well he'll play in Vancouver, and I get to see him a bit more because I really loved him as a player when he was playing in Arizona there. It was actually Connor Garland was a player that I hope the Edmonton Oilers went after just because of how exciting and hard worker he is as a player. So I thought maybe the Oilers should have went after him a little while ago.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it would be great. Anybody, that's the thing. Anybody that can play offense and get to the net for McDavid is like, you can pretty much. I'd even take Tatar or like anybody really. Like, doesn't really matter because he's just that good. So it's just a case of having somebody that can play. Let's see what Hyman does, but 2.2, 2.6 average for Vancouver. And Vegas, I got them first too for now.
First, I think that'll be like a first place average basically. I like the Nolan Patrick move. I'm excited to see how well he'll do in Vegas. Like I'm really excited to see how well Nolan Patrick will do in Vegas. But their center depth is way better than what it was last year, and I think that was a big thing that they targeted on. Getting a lot of center depth. They added Patrick, added Howden. You have Krebs developing there in the system, so. I like what they did for their center depth, and I'm excited to see what they're going to do throughout the regular season. But I think they're automatic first.
It's not 2.6. Okay, what is it? I don't know. I'm not confident about Patrick. It's 3. It's 3. Okay, whatever. That's all right. Everybody's got one jacket. First, okay, jacket. So you put in your number for each team, and then you're part of the average. And at the end of it, we're gonna make our stream predictions. So, yeah, I don't know if it'll be easy. If they again, I'm not sold on what they did up the middle. Patrick to me seems very immature. And Howden was an absolute basket case for the Rangers last year. I don't know what happened to that dude. I had high hopes for that guy, but he was.
That's the funny thing.
Terrible.
We've said this about a lot of the Vegas Golden Knights moves, but they did with Chandler Stevenson, who has turned into a miracle player. William Karlsson wasn't even half himself before he came to Vegas. And you look at Patrick and Howden, they both kind of played like how Stevenson and Karlsson did before coming to the Vegas Golden Knights. So that's why I'm kind of excited because Vegas has always seemed to turn these centers around and able to, make them good producers. If Patrick plays alongside of Matthias Janmark and Dadonov, that could potentially be a good line. Janmark plays really well defensively, who scores a bit of goals. Dadonov brings a lot of offense, and Patrick brings a little bit of that physicality. They are young, and it is a big question around them, but I do like the moves that they did make.
Yeah, we'll see. I think if they were in other divisions, I wouldn't be as confident with this team as Lehner lost some weight apparently, which is good, and I do like the pickup of from Brossois from Winnipeg.
I really like that move too.
That was a good move. But overall, they have a very easy division to get first in, so they'll probably do it for sure. You got Stone's a beast. Still got Pacioretty, and you still got that line with Smith, Karlsson, and who's the other one on that line? But anyways, let's get on to the next one because we got a half an hour to do it. I always think we got plenty of time until we get into it. Next division.
Metro.
The Metro. No, sorry. That's the Atlantic. We're doing the Atlantic and the Pacific.
The Atlantic, right.
The two opposites. Atlantic and the Pacific, and we're starting with the Boston Bruins. Where do you have the Boston Bruins on this one?
Well, we already know the top four is basically pretty easy with the Atlantic. This is where you're going to be placing everyone. I think for Boston, it lies between their second liner. I know that a lot of fans are kind of all right with what they got, but when you look at Calgary, and this team in Calgary could be a crazy good team if they had an actual first line center, right? This team in Calgary, they could have been, upwards of top of the division if they had a first line center. We've seen what it did when Monahan actually played good. But now they don't have a second line center, and they're relying on Charlie Coyle or Eric Holla. That's not good. Their defense is awesome. They got an all-American D-line, which is absolutely nutty. But they got a good defensive core. Linus Ullmark is going to be a big question. He put up some really good numbers. I'm excited to see how well he'll be as, a full-blown starter for the Boston Bruins. I see this team. I see them placing fourth and taking that wild card spot. That's where I see the Boston Bruins placing as fourth.
Really? Okay, we got 4. Mm-hmm. I got 3. I think they can fix that center spot through the year somewhere along.
Oh yeah.
But
I definitely think if they can fix that center spot, I think I could see them place higher up in the third. But I just see the other teams placing a little higher up than what Boston's going to be placing. Oh yeah, Hall is a decent third liner, no doubt about it. But
I like Hall better.
Right.
I like Hall better on the wing though. I like when he simplifies his game more. So yeah, I still think that it's a big hole. It's a big hole, and it's a hole because I can't see Charlie Coyle being able to make that up. I just can't see it. He hasn't proved it up until now. Why would I think he's going to do it all of a sudden? Foligno is not. That's not what he's doing now in this stage of his career. He shouldn't be playing second line center spot, I don't think.
Yeah.
So, it's a hole that I think is going to definitely have to be filled, especially playing with a guy like Hall, who needs to pass the puck to someone. You need to shoot first, too, if you could get it, But that's easier said than done.
Yeah.
But I got him 3. We got several fourths. We got 3 average. 3 seems about. It doesn't surprise me at all that that's the average for Boston there. Next.
Buffalo. That's easy. 8th. We don't even need to talk about it. You can just look at their lineup and see that Cousin, Middlestad, Gergensons, and Eakin as your center core with Bjork and Thompson as your second line wingers. And Skinner playing on the top line wing. And no Jack Eichel. That's easy. Dead last. Buffalo Jacket says 9th.
9th.
They're getting relegated. They're getting relegated for some other AHL team. The Rochester Americans are going to be coming up and replacing them. Their American League team.
Yeah, it's kind of hard not to put them in there.
That's an easy one. 8th average. Yeah. I don't think you need to
no, they're
worry about this one.
They're goaltending.
It's an easy
to
average.
me, the goaltending is like no matter how you try to spin it.
Del Anderson. You can't spin.
You got to hope that Luukkonen is ready, and he's 22 years old. There's a pretty big step. He does something like Lankinen did in Chicago, but yeah, you got to go 8 across the board. I think they're going to be much more competitive than they have been. It'll be closer games. You're not going to see blowouts after blowouts after blowouts. It'll be like 3-2 losses. It'll be the 1-goal games that they can, and that's very good teams win 1-goal games in the NHL, and they're not a good team, so they'll lose a lot of 1-goal games. Yeah. So go Caps. What we're doing is doing it each team in each division, and you tell us where you think they're going to finish, and then we're averaging it all out, and at the end we'll work out our predictions, and I'm going to do a video on it. Okay. Sabres need new ownership. Yeah, well, that's kind of hard to change. It's not like you can just trade ownerships. Would be nice.
Oh yeah, it would be nice.
Yeah, I trade Edmonton's owner too. Actually, to tell you the honest truth, I did.
Yeah, I would do that.
So then Buffalo is 8th, right? Don't even know the app to know the average. Detroit. There's a lot of
this
people.
is a tough one. But I think for Detroit, I think, man, this is such a tough one because I see Ottawa doing a lot better this year, and I see Detroit doing a lot better this year. But I think with Detroit, I see Ottawa improving a bit more just because of a lot of their younger guns are definitely going to take a step up this year. You know, they are having more Snyder and Alex Nedeljkovic stepping in, but I think I still see Detroit placing around 7th this year. I don't see them going any higher than 7th with the Detroit Red Wings.
Yeah, you can put it in Go
Lord,
Caps. Put your
4th.
What you got 7 too? I got 7.
Yeah,
well.
I'm picking 7th.
And yeah, like all of these teams could be better, but it's just I think they're worse off in goaltending. I don't think Nedeljkovic is better than Bernier, and that's not a good thing. Grice is getting up there. You know, he has his days where he looks really good, but Lauren thinks 4. Lauren, I know, has got like heavy. He thinks that a lot of these young guys that are coming up are going to crush it. I don't think that's this year. I think they're going to see a lot of cool things and them try really hard and all that kind of stuff like that. But I don't think it's this year. I think it's not far away that you're going to see a breakout, but I don't think it's this year. Whiteshill says 5. Wow.
Yeah, like Joe Veleno, and you got guys popping into the lineup. I do like what they got going on. I just don't think this year's the year that they're going to take a massive jump up. Nick Leddy wasn't, a huge improvement. Mort Snyder's going to be a massive improvement for that defense core. And then also Hugh Suter was an amazing second liner. I just don't see them compared to what, Ottawa and Montreal look like. I just don't see them jumping, far, maybe 6, but I could definitely see them just guaranteed 7.
Well, I know one thing for sure. Nick Leddy's not going to help things out too much. That's one thing I know for sure.
Oh, no.
I still don't understand for the life of me what Steve Yzerman had to, what he owed Lamoriello or something for what he did for that. I don't get it. There had to be something later on that's going to happen. I've just watched.
I don't know.
There's going to be a trade later on, and Lamoriello is going to look like he got pooched on it, and or something, because that was weird. That was very weird. I imagine he picked him up to trade Leddy later, and Brian Benning will probably give him a second at the deadline for him or something like that.
Probably somebody will. Somebody who needs an offensive guy, they'll pick up Leddy.
We don't need to play defense.
No.
Come on.
God, no.
Play.
God, no.
We can play.
God, no.
Leddy and
Cece.
Yeah, there you go.
Or you could do Leddy and Barry.
Leddy and Barry.
Oh, that hurts me. That
would be brutal. Okay.
Oh God. Florida.
Let's get that out of our head.
Oh, second place for Florida. I have high hopes for this team. I think the sky's the limit. I know a lot of people call this team overrated, but I don't look at this team overrated.
No.
I see this team as like Spencer Knight. Spencer Knight is your fix. This guy is an amazing goalie. He played like it last year. This guy can carry this team to that second place in the division, and I truly do believe that. Sam Reinhart, he looks absolutely amazing. A lot of people don't know very much about him, but he's an amazing goal scorer, and this is a player that Florida needed.
Yep.
This is a player that Florida needed. He was like, top 10 in goal scoring this past season? He had 25 goals. This is a guy that's going to be really, really good going forward for the Florida Panthers. Then also you get Owen Tippett. He's going to continue on developing, and I think this year could be a potential breakout year. But I think this Florida Panthers team, they're deep. They have a lot going for them this year. I see them placed in second.
Well, I'm with a lot of the guys in the stream here. I think they're going to be first.
Nice.
And you mentioned the big reason why for me, if please, please, please. I know Mr. Bennett loves to play center. That's what he wanted to do and all that kind of stuff like that. But I think they can convince him to play wing. And I hope so. And Reinhardt getting the puck passed to him from Huberdeau, I think he can score 50, man. That would be so sick, man.
I can't wait to watch Florida again. Me and you need to do a live stream a couple times on the Florida Panthers games. Sure. Because last year they were so sick last year whenever you watch one of their games. We've got to watch a few of the Florida Panthers games because they're such an electric team to watch. And especially now with Sam Ryder in that lineup, they're like slowly becoming one of my favorite teams.
Oh, yeah.
Slowly.
Yeah.
Like I would change my fandom for the Panthers because this team looks so good and they're actually being managed properly. This is how you manage a team, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah. This is how you change a team into good.
Yeah, and I mean, you brought up Lundell. Lundell has been
he looks amazing.
He looks like he's going to be.
We didn't even bring up him.
We didn't even bring up Lundell. They got a lot of the lineup is just fantastic all the way around. I still think that Weegar is their best defenseman. Ekblad is second. Nothing against Ekblad. I just love Weegar.
No.
Maybe they could use a little depth on D. That would be about it. But they've got the.
But Gustav Forslin's going to break out this year.
Great. He broke out
really
last
good.
year. He looked great last year.
Yes, he was great last year. But I think he's going to even get better this upcoming season. I feel like he's just going to continue on getting better. But the Montour one was a bit weird for their defense. Like I definitely do think they could be a little bit better defensively. But even then, their defense doesn't look that bad.
No. And it's tough to say that about a guy as young as Knight, but I mean, you don't see guys like him too often, man.
No, he looks good.
He looks absolutely insane. He looks like he's up there with the, he looks like he could be up there with the Waz and guys like that. Like he's that good. I haven't seen a guy that young, that good for a very long time. So, and then of course Q, man. Q is incredible coach. He should have won. He should have won Coach of the Year last year. And I know that Lauren's going to get mad at me when I say that. I'm a Carolina fan, but I love Brind'Amour. But what he did with that team last year, come on, man. Come on. I think he should have won last year. Okay.
Yay. Montreal.
Is it Montreal next? Okay.
Yeah, Montreal is next. 6th for Montreal for me. Yeah. Carey Price is a big question mark. I think he's out again with another injury. The team's filled with injuries. I don't know. I don't have a lot of hope in this team. The moves that they did, I don't like the Mike Hoffman move. He can't play 5-on-5. The only time he can score is on the power play. Dvorak, he's all right. Decent two-way guy, but, replacing Deneau and Kotkaniemi for Dvorak is not very good. Drouin's going to be back, but will he be, Drouin-like? Who knows? I just don't see this team playing very well, especially that defensive core looks horrible. It really does. It doesn't look very pretty, especially with Shea Weber gone now and, signing David Savard, who's going, his game is slowly regressing. This team won't be able to move the puck out of their own zone. And I see them placing 6th in this year.
Yeah, I got worse than that. I got them 7. I think actually Drouin's going to have a great year. I do think Drouin's going to have a great year.
Yeah.
Coming back, the way he spoke, stuff like that. It's kind of a soft spot for me with mental stuff like that. I think he's going to have a great year, but I think it's just too much loss here. And there's just too much.
And they're relying a lot on Nick Suzuki and Cole Caulfield this year. I feel like this is really horrible by Bergevin to rely so much on these young kids in both Caulfield and Nick Suzuki. I don't know. I feel like they're going to play all right, but, they have so much expectations looming over their heads. I just feel like it's just bad news.
Yeah, and Savard last year really honestly got handed a cup because he did not have a good year all year. Even in Tampa, I didn't even think he looked good. So
he was all right defensively, but he was horrible offensively. He couldn't move the puck. He couldn't do anything with the puck.
yeah, he could have been injured too. So I'll give it that. Like he could have he could have been playing with an injury last year, and if that's the case, then whatever. Because he can be way better than that. He has been way better than that. So if he's back to where that was, I'll give him more of a chance. But it just doesn't sit well. Like losing Perry was the heart of that team, and there's just a whole lot of stuff but we weren't picking them to do what they did either, right? The year before, there's always that. I'm surprised this hockey. Oh, look at this! Hockey News Reports comes in right when we're doing Montreal Canadiens. What do you think, Hockey News Reports? And thank you for coming in, my friend. By the way, if you haven't already, sign yourself up, sub yourself up to HNR. He's got some great stuff there. He knows his hockey all right. Where do you got them in finishing in the division? Hockey News Reports. We're doing that right
Canadians. We're just doing the Canadians. We're doing the whole the whole Atlantic Division right now.
We're doing the whole Atlantic Division, and we're on Montreal right now. We got a lot of 6, 5, 7. Did we have an average already? Oh, we had 5.8. But go. What do you figure? Hockey News Reports. Just kidding. Yeah, that is the appropriate time for a JK right there.
First, yeah. Oh my lord, what the heck did I just see there, boy? Last wildcard spot, please. Well, you can hope, but I don't see it. I don't see it.
No, I don't see it either.
Want to move on to Ottawa?
Evans as your third line center? No. Okay, yeah, Ottawa.
I see them placing 5th, Ottawa Senators. Yep. I have a lot of belief in this team this year. With Stützle and Norris and how well they did. Remember how well they did near the end of the season there? They were amazing. Like, this team looked really good. They have Victor Mete. Their defensive core is just going to take another leap up with Bransham, Zub, Shabbat. They're only going to continue to go up. The offense has been looking great. We have Batherson, Norris, Stützle, Kachuk, Pinto, who looked really good near the end of the season. I think this team could place 5th. They're not going to be a playoff team. They're going to be far from it, but I think they could place 5th and look really good.
It's all about the goaltending with me. If Murray can actually put it together finally, then yeah. I mean, this could even be a playoff team, seriously. But
you know what?
I just don't have any faith.
Maybe Philip Gustafsson jumps in and beats that goalie this year because he was looking all right last year too.
He was, and that's the thing the reason why I'm sticking with 5-2 like you are is I really think Gustafsson is the guy there. I think he could definitely do it. So, Jacket says 7 for the Sens. I understand all those things too because they are very green. It's one thing to make a run and keep on going, but it's another thing to play 82 games. They don't really have the greatest depth in the world still. If they have a rash of injuries, they could.
Hockey News Report, they should have picked Matthew Coronado instead of either Sillinger or Boucher. Matthew Coronado is a great winger. He would have been amazing for the Ottawa Senators instead of picking Boucher. That's what I would have went with.
Yeah, they're trying to put together a team here. Boucher is probably going to be a third-line winger, and they want size. So I don't mind the pick, but Coronado just did seem like the pick. Or Sillinger. Sillinger, again, is like the third-line center type guy. Good to have. But Sillinger's playing amazing right now. In the preseason, talk to me later. Wait till he's actually playing games in junior or something. It doesn't matter to me at all if a player is putting up points in preseason because half the players don't.
He did all right in the UCHL there for 46 points in 31 games, but it is preseason.
Yeah.
Preseason hockey is preseason hockey. Wait until the regular season.
I don't even hardly watch preseason because it just screws up my perception of things. Like,
and they also had Zach Sanford there in Ottawa too. I totally forgot about that.
We got to talk about that move. That was beautiful. Logan Brown
that was a beautiful
is a
move.
lazy,
oh my Lord,
whiny, immature brat, and they got freaking. St. Louis is going to going to die on the vine, aren't they? I don't know what.
I don't know. Well, the reason why they made the move is because of Cap, but like all their fans were like, "Oh, Zach Sanford was lazy. He's a bum," and I'm like,
What?
"What? What?"
When did this happen?
I'm like, "What do you?"
He was
This
under.
was like a while ago. I was like on Twitter, and I was seeing a bunch of the St. Louis fans really did not enjoy Sanford's game apparently. But I'm like, I don't know what you guys are talking about because when I seen Sanford, his defensive game was pretty good.
Yep.
And he brought a decent offensive game too, but he just brings more size and grittiness to that depth there to the Ottawa Senators, which I think is, it's good. They have a great lethal top six and just the grit defensive players like Nick Paul, great defensive guy. Zach Sanford, who could play good defensively. Tierney, who doesn't, brings a decent defensive game. They got some decent depth guys going there for Ottawa, and that's why I see them placing fifth.
Yeah, and I thought Sanford was always underappreciated in St. Louis, and he was going to get a good shot in Ottawa. I wouldn't even doubt if Sanford himself. The reason why they made the trade is Sanford behind the scenes said, you know what, I like to try somewhere else where they're going to give you more of a chance, because I don't think he got a good chance in St. Louis. I don't think they gave him a good opportunity.
On to Tampa. 6 average for Ottawa.
Tampa, yeah. 6 average for Ottawa? Okay.
Yeah. I go first place here for the Tampa Bay Lightning. I know their depth, they lost a lot, but I really have high beliefs on Ross Colton and Alex Barr-Boulette to jump up. But I also see a lot of their other prospects maybe jumping in too, because there's been a lot of guys that just haven't been able to jump in the lineup here for the Tampa Bay Lightning just because of how stacked this roster is every single year. And I think they're going to be placing up near the top of the division, but I could see the Florida Panthers overtaking them in that top place in the division, and I can see them battling for it. But I do see Tampa Bay winning the top of the division.
Yeah, I got no problems with their roster, the way they have it set up and how they did what they did. Nothing against Tampa at all. I just think they're going to do something similar like they did in the regular season last year, and they're going to, if guys are even close to injured, they're going to rest them and all that kind of stuff like that. And they're going to lose a couple games because of that. They're probably going to play Elliott more so they can, because this is their third run, right? So they're going to be tired. It was a short off season. They're going to really take it easy through the regular season. And for that reason, I think Florida will bust out and probably win this division. I don't necessarily think the Florida is the best team. I think Tampa Bay probably is, but that's why I got
Wouldn't
Tampa
that
Bay
suck for Toronto to place third in the division and have to deal with Tampa Bay in the first round? Oh, Lord, that's going to be so funny. Oh, man. Because I have Toronto placed in third, but yeah, I could totally see that with the Tampa Bay Lightning where they take it easy this year, rest players when, there might be a little injured. I could totally see that a lot this year because they did play a lot of the hockey. They have, like, a lot of the players that they picked up even during free, like, they didn't really pick up a whole lot of players. The new players are Bellemare and Corey Perry. A lot of the players are from the roster that just won a current Stanley Cup. So a lot of these guys are going to be tired. They just went back to back. We seen it from Pittsburgh where, the injuries hit them hard after that back to back. They didn't really play as well going into that third season. So we'll have to see how Tampa Bay does going into this third season. And yeah, 1.57 average for the Tampa Bay Lightning.
Yeah. I can certainly understand a first, and no doubt about that. I mean, if Vasilevsky happens to get injured, it could be a little bit of trouble with Elliott there, but I think Elliott will even be better with that defense in front of him instead of Philadelphia last year. So, but
and yeah, I can see Hockey News Report. I can see Boris Kachuk playing as a decent fourth liner. He did pretty well there in Syracuse this past year. 29 games, he had 34 points.
Yeah.
He could potentially be a player that could jump in the lineup this year.
Yeah, I think their depth is okay still. I don't really think it hurt them all that much. They had a lot of guys playing lower than they could have on most teams anyways, so it's not that bad that way. Like I said, I just think they're going to do the same as they did last year. And Vasilevsky will bail them out a lot. And, you have Vasilevsky. You still got the best winger, the best defenseman, and the best, arguably maybe the best defenseman and the best goaltender in the league. If not, so you're probably going to be okay. Okay. third in the division. Toronto Maple Leafs. Lauren says 7. Yeah, that's.
I see them placing third. I kind of I like what they did. I mean, they got a lot of players that could potentially jump in the lineup, like Gusev and Hossein that they brought in at training camp. And I would like to see Hossein make it to the main roster. I actually quite like what he did there in the first preseason game that I watched. But I'm really enjoying Michael Bunting. I think Michael Bunting will be a huge player playing alongside John Tavares this upcoming season. And I think he could potentially be a guy that scores upwards of 20 goals, maybe even, 15, 20 goals for them. But I do see them placed in that third spot. Their offense is going to be crazy good, I feel, for the Toronto Maple Leafs this upcoming season. I feel like they're going to definitely be wanting a little bit of redemption. Their goaltending is, a big question with Mrazek and Campbell. Can Mrazek stay healthy? And how well will Campbell do playing, a full 30, 40 games this upcoming season as well? That's going to be a big question. And their defense. Will their defense be enough to make it to the playoffs again? But I think Toronto will be in third.
Yeah, I got him in fourth. There's a lot. I mean, I did think for the fact that they had to go down to the bargain basement to pick players, I thought they did a good job. I thought Richie was a good pickup for a little bit. Bunting, like you, I agree. He had an excellent second half in Arizona. I don't know how much his body can hold up, but I could see them using him 5-on-5, sort of like Washington does with almost every team that's ever had him with what's his name? I always forget his name. I'll tell you in a second. But didn't Ottawa also sign the player that we had, the little winger we had?
Tyler Ennis. Yeah, they signed him on like a PTO or something like that. Yeah,
Ennis is a good example of what I'm trying to say. Like, they usually play those little guys off 5-on-5 and keep their minutes down, but they're skilled enough to play up there. That's kind of what I think Bunting will do for Toronto, and I think he can do that really well. The other one I was thinking about used to also play for the Pittsburgh Penguins, and now he plays for the Washington Capitals. And I don't know why I always forget his name, but I do.
But I was hearing a really good exsample by the commentators that I was listening to during the during the commentating of the Toronto game there. How they were talking about how well Matt Molson did when John Tavares played alongside of him, and Molson threw up insane amounts of goals every single year that he played alongside of John Tavares, and a lot of people are maybe thinking he could basically do that with Bunting, and Bunting could play alongside Tavares, and maybe Tavares can get Bunting up to that plateau of a Molson where he could score 20, 30 goals a season. And I could totally see that out of Bunting. He threw up 10 goals in 21 games in Arizona. That's pretty damn impressive. And from what I've seen in the preseason game, he likes to get in those dirty spots. He has his stick on the ice 24/7. He plays a really smart game. And if he plays, 16, 17 minutes per game, gets a little bit of power play time, I think this guy is going to be a killer guy for the Toronto Maple Leafs.
No, I agree. I think it's he's an X factor there. I think it was a great pickup. I wish we would have picked it again. That would have been awesome for the Oilers to pick up a guy like that. For 900 G, I thought it was very astute. It was really paying attention to the league a lot, and especially when you want to pick up bargain basement guys, it was a good move. Kasha was worth the risk. He was good in Anaheim back in the day before the injury happened. Could work out for him. But I'm not a Mrazek guy, and that was the big thing for me. Like, I don't know, maybe Bernier didn't want to go back to Toronto again, which I don't blame him. Would you want to be a goaltender in Toronto? I wouldn't. No. But I mean, that would have been huge if they would have got somebody like that. But getting Mrazek, I'm very skeptical. And Campbell went on a good run. There's just a question mark whether he can, like you said, he's a big question mark whether he can keep it up over 40 games or whatever he's going to play. So that's my biggest problem with them, and their defense depth wasn't that bad. Now isn't that great? If they have injuries, or they're in trouble. Let's remember though, last year they were 7th in the league defensively, which
Yeah, the Toronto
you
Maple
kind of
Leafs,
forget
but they
that.
were in the North Division, so we'll have to see how well they do in this division, back in the Atlantic and the normal divisions. But they were really good defensively. They were. Jake Muzzin, TJ Brody. Brody did a lot for that defensive core, so we'll have to see, how well they'll do going into this year, and I'm excited to see.
No, Mrazek in the playoffs for sure, but I'm just talking about making it. If Ottawa catches lightning in a bottle here, if Gustafsson has a stellar year like we think he might, I mean, I could possibly see Ottawa sneaking past Toronto or whoever. I could see it. I mean, if they need a lot of guys to really step up, but they have guys that can look at. We didn't even mention Pinto there. Pinto had a hell of a year
Yes.
last year, and his, one more year older, and yeah. But, anyways, buddy, this has been absolutely fantastic. I have missed this.
It has
I have missed this. Next year, Steel Flyers, we're going to be rocking, and you're not going to have to go off and do the summer job stuff and blah 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 blah. We're going to do a lot more of this stuff, man. Anyways, we'll be doing live streams together soon. We're gonna have to get some dates on that because
I will be. I already got some dates practically ready to go. Opening day, I'm doing both the Pittsburgh Penguins and Tampa Bay Lightning, and then I'm doing the home opener or the season opener, the first ever game between the Kraken and the Vegas Golden Knights. And then the day after that, I'm doing the Oilers and Canucks. So I can't wait until opening day because I'm doing a doubleheader, and then I'm doing the first Oilers game of the season as well. So I'm excited once hockey starts up again.
Opening night is what, the 12th, right?
Yeah, opening night is the 12th. Yeah. So if you want to join me for opening night between the Kraken and the Knights, let's do it.
Let's do it. Kraken Knights.
Let's do it.
We are doing it, and we're going to be doing. We're doing it. We said it right here. We're going to do it, and I don't care about popular teams this year. I'm going to do the ones that we like, and like you said, the Florida Panthers.
Yeah. Florida Panthers, whatever it may be, let's do it.
Yeah, we're the hockey nerds here. Right?
I would love that, some live streams. I can't wait to start doing play-by-play. I already started doing play-by-play. I'm doing play-by-play again tonight. Between
them as I possibly can. I can't wait. Thanks for coming out. I know you got to head out. I'm not leaving.
No problem.
I'm not leaving, guys. Look at all these guys left. I'm not leaving. I'm sticking around here. We're gonna do extra time. So take care.
All right. I'll see you later, mate.
There, how about now? Now you can got it. Now you can hear it, right? There, how about now? There you go. Now you can hear. We got it figured out. Okay. Yeah, okay. So, tomorrow we are going to be doing the other two divisions. I'll post, want to find out, okay, I'll tell you how it all worked out. So we got in the Pacific, Vegas is first. Vegas first. Then $5.1. Geez, we got a tie. We got a tie between Edmonton and Vancouver. Who didn't vote for Edmonton, Vancouver? Is anybody out there that didn't vote for Edmonton, Vancouver right now? I'll be on for a bit. Hopefully we get more people coming in now. It's getting later, so we usually get a couple more. Jacket, are you still there, Jacket? Who's still on? Oilers get the bump. We got a tie between the Oilers and Vancouver, so we got to settle this tie. So okay, Jacket. Who do you take between the Oilers and Vancouver? Edmonton. Okay, so Oilers are second. Whoops. Where did I have that? Oilers second. And then we got Vancouver, obviously, third. Canucks third. Kings fourth. Seattle fifth. Calgary, Flames sixth. Hey, Hockey News Reports. Okay. Flames are sixth. Sharks 7 and Anaheim 8. And Ducks 8. Yeah, well, you weren't here to vote for that one. You could have put them last, but they got the Ducks last. Yeah, I'm doing for the next 2 weeks, I'm going to be doing extra long streams because I don't have to pick up Caroline till later. So if you guys could keep this concurrence going, which today I have to say they're doing a pretty poor job of it, I can continue doing this sort of thing. We can keep a lot of people up there, but then when I lost the sound, everybody left. So that was kind of my fault. But we'll see who comes back in the stream here. But okay, so for the next division, that's the Pacific. In the Atlantic, we got Tampa 157. What was Florida? Florida wins it. Panthers first. Oh, Brisebois got an extension? Okay, cool. Kind of hard not to re-sign him. He's done excellent work. I don't know. Has he made one mistake, really? Lightning are second. Boston third. Leafs fourth. Oh, we got another tie. Jacket, are you still there? Between Montreal and Detroit. I think it's possible that Verhaeghe slips a little bit because their lineup is a little stronger this year. It's a good question, though. Do I think a lot more people are going to be watching him this year than last year too? Like, he sort of came out of nowhere, and usually when that happens, there's a little bit of a regression because guys are going to be watching him a little more. But, I mean, they still got him playing on the top line with Barkov and Reinhart, so he could be all right. I think it depends on what happens with Lundell. If Lundell makes it, although he'll probably still play third line center spot. Yeah. Maybe he will be about the same points. Detroit, okay. Wings. Fifth. Who am I missing here? Montreal, sixth. And, of course, Buffalo. No, Ottawa. Where's Ottawa? Shoot. Oh, Ottawa's 7. And Buffalo 8. I was surprised Ottawa was so low, actually. The Wings are a little higher than I thought they would be. But they got a lot of guys that can break out this year. Zadina, guys like that, so. Okay, so tomorrow we're going to do the other ones. So today, maybe we'll just talk about, like, who do you think is going to, you said Verhage is a surprise player. Do you think there's a guy like that? Who do you think might be that guy this year? The surprise, the Verhage of this year. I mean, that's pretty hard to tell, but because I never saw Verhage came out of nowhere last year. I think, Michael Bunting, but I don't think that's anybody's not expecting that. Mason Appleton. I think Mason Appleton could have a huge year this year. Mason Appleton could be the Verhage of this year. Off of every team. I wonder if you could pick a Verhage. Seattle would have a few. Cal Yarncroc could feel everything's going for him. In Nashville, I don't know. He kind of got strapped in Nashville. I think he sold himself short. He could have a year where it just breaks out for. I always thought he had more offense in him. That's what I'm trying to say. I always thought Yarncroc had more offense in him than what he's shown in his career so far. So that would be a guy that I could see doing a Verhage this year. You might even look at, like, the Tampa Bay Lightning, some of their depth guys that finally get a chance to really prove themselves, like Matthew Joseph. Matthew Joseph at 24 breaking out. Like, how many guys have they been like that? And with Anaheim, another guy that I think that could bust out that I really liked, and he's going to get a full year, is Alexander Volkov, which is an ex-Tampa Bay Lightning. Isn't that sick? All of those guys are ex-Tampa Bay Lightnings, and they could do a Verhage. That tells you a lot about what Tampa Bay does for drafting and developing, right? Winnipeg Jets, Andrew Kopp. He's going to get second line minutes at left wing this year. A lot. And he's been creeping up every year offensively. He's 27 now. He had, like, a really good year last year. Could he move up and, like, really crush it out of the park this year? He didn't do very well in the playoffs, but nobody in Winnipeg did. So it doesn't really mean much. Nashville Predators probably got a couple guys that could do that. Eli Toivonen, but it's not really a Verhage thing, and he's still young, and it's kind of expected that he would do that. Rocco Grimaldi, 5'6". He just can't play enough minutes. If he was 2 inches taller even, Rocco Grimaldi would put up a heck of a lot more points, but New Jersey Devils got a ton of guys that could do that. I don't know. Miles Wood apparently was on the trade block. I think he must be asking for too much money for what he's done in the past, or they don't even want to sign him because they got to give him a qualifying offer. They don't even want to sign him at 2.7, over 2.7. He's a kind of guy that would do that. I don't know what it is up with him. He had like 35-point pace last year. I think it's because he's kind of lost the physical game he put up earlier in his career. And maybe wants to have a chance to be more of an offensive guy somewhere else so he can make more money. Maybe it's him actually saying, I think it'd be better if I moved on, because they're looking at him as a 3-4 guy. And he's sort of like, nah, I'm not a 3-4 guy. I want to try being a second line guy. So trade me somewhere where I can be a second line guard. Zero people in this stream. See if anybody comes on. Today, Mackenzie Blackwood confirms that it was him. Blackwood explained that he hasn't decided whether or not he will be vaccinated in the future, but has a couple of health concerns and health reasons why he has not received it yet. Though Blackwood will be held to stricter protocols because of his status, the Devils won't be forced to go without him at the start of the season, like some other teams with unvaccinated players. New Jersey is not scheduled to travel to Canada until December 3rd, game against the Winnipeg Jets, meaning there would be time for the young goaltender to receive league approved vaccine in time. So Blackwood is looking like he won't be vaccinated. Good thing that they got Bernier, eh? Holy crap! Like, that is so fortunate. It was a great pickup to get Bernier. If Blackwood has injury problems or anything like that, Bernier just crushed it in Detroit the last 2 years. And now with this, it's like hardly even a thing. Arizona Coyotes have hired David Oliver and Scott Pellerin as pro scouts. Scott Pellerin, of course, played for the St. Louis Blues, which Armstrong, who is now the general manager of Arizona Coyotes, would have been, I believe he would have been a general manager or a manager or in the organization during the time that Scott Pellerin played. So it makes sense that they brought him in. They already have a relationship with each other as it is. Bill Armstrong. Bill Armstrong was the one that did it. They did a whole overhaul of their front office since Bill Armstrong came in, which is probably wise, since their drafting and developing has been pretty meh so far, and just the overall organization in general. Sheika did a terrible job with that team. Sheika almost lost a franchise out of Arizona. I hope that doesn't happen. Isn't the case. I hope that Arizona can dig themselves out of this situation that they're in right now. And I do think they are. They got another arena coming. It sounds like the owner is committed to losing a crap load of money for the next couple of years as a team that never really made it that big goes through a rebuild in a non-hockey market that has struggled to bring people in. Man, this guy is like a god. He'll be remembered for a long, long time when the Coyotes fan base grows and they grow into the love of this fantastic sport. He is going to be revered for holding out as long as he did and losing as much money as he did. I don't care how much. You're a multi-millionaire. You didn't do that by losing money. You had to make money. And this guy is pouring his hard-earned money into this franchise, and keeping it going, which is pretty awesome because we need it in the NHL. Arizona franchise, the desert like Vegas and Arizona and the Florida franchises, these non-traditional teams are going to be able to push us as an NHL entity into the possibility of getting, football, basketball, and all that kind of like that popular. Those division or those franchises, it's best that they succeed. So good for him to stick it out. I don't know, honestly, if I would have stuck it out by now. He's a pretty cool guy to do that in Arizona. CL, you're back, I see. So Colton Dach is going to the WHL. He has been traded from the Saskatoon Blades to the Kelowna Rockets. So Colton Dach is going to play for the Kelowna Rockets next year. He had 11 goals and 20 points in 20 games for Saskatoon last season. But we'll try to build on that this time in Kelowna. I don't get it. I don't get the game here in Canada, if you can believe that. ESPN took over and we got like virtually no games here. So I don't really watch too much preseason anyways. It doesn't really, I find preseason kind of sways my view a little bit. I don't know. You watch it and go, oh, geez, that young player, but in all honesty, they're playing against guys that aren't putting in their full 100% at all. Like, nah, that's the whole thing. I have a hard time watching preseason. Like, it doesn't. I watch so much hockey in the regular season. I kind of give my family a bit of a break too, as much as I possibly can. But when the games really don't matter and you're not learning much of anything, like I've heard that Bouchard played really well in Edmonton, but you're not competing against anybody. Yeah, but if he has a bad game, it won't matter, and if he has a good game, it won't matter. Really, he's just testing out the body and getting used to it. So, I don't put any real stock into preseason if guys have good games or bad games or whatever. I would rather watch the scrimmages between the players, than the. Yeah, but for that sort of thing, I suppose if I was like alone and didn't have family and stuff like that, I'd probably find a feed or something and watch it. But Oh, yeah. I would not doubt at all that Yandel puts up some good points tonight because when nobody's trying, Yandel looks great. Wouldn't surprise me a bit if Yandel does really well. Yeah, I think the Isles are going to be strong this year. They have a little more depth. Again, the only problems I could see arising with the Islanders is if they have a couple injuries on D. If the Isles have a couple injuries on D, I could see there being some issues. They don't really have all that much depth as far as D is concerned. But they'll probably still make it. If you need the hookup. Yeah, Jack Campbell was bad, but does it really matter? Just wait. I'm going to grab something. I'll be right back, guys. Got 3 people in the stream. Good to hear. Good to see. Sorry about that. Oh, are they? Then the Isles will probably win it, yeah. Sometimes the first liners don't really win because they're not trying too hard. And the young guys are trying to find a spot, so they beat them to the puck and stuff like that. Like, the Islanders, no depth at goalie? You mean after Sorokin and Varlamov? I think Sorokin will probably steal that #1 spot this year. But after that, yeah, there's not much. Who is their third stringer now? Corey Schneider. Oh, yeah, right. I don't know. Corey Schneider, geez, I would love to see him do well. But, yeah, probably not. Not much. Yeah, you're right. Not much depth. They don't, and yeah, not much depth coming up the pipeline either. But their top two is pretty fantastic. And not much depth on D either. Like they're not. There isn't much overall depth on their team. If they have, like, say, I suppose the first person to go in will be Hickey if there's an injury. And that's not great. But prospects like Ben Mirages, I don't even know who that is. What, third overall in 2017? And he put 12 points up in 25 games in college in Providence. 6'1". I mean, he's already 22 years old. If he does make it, it doesn't look like he's going to be an offensive defenseman, that's for sure, of any kind. They're Bode Wild. Bode Wild is not going to get the vaccination. They're sending him off to Sweden. He had a terrible year last year in the AHL. He wasn't great considering he was supposed to be an offensive guy. So now, because he's not getting vaccinated, he has to go to Sweden. So he's not going to be an option. Paul Ledoux has never put it together. He's 29 now. Played in LA for a little while, but never really made it. Didn't really have the skills to be able to play in the NHL. They don't have much. Leafs will be in 7th place. I don't think it's going to be that low, but I don't think it's going to be that low, White Joe. All right, I think I'm going to end her here. I'm going to go take care of some stuff. So see you tomorrow, 1 o'clock, same time. We'll do the other 2 divisions, and there will be much frolic. That's my full 42. See you, Jacket. See you, John. Have a great day. Oh, remember Payton's live stream tonight? Off the Wall John has a live stream. Yeah, he is very bad. Off the Wall John has a live stream tonight. So lots of live streams going on. See you, CL. Have a great one, everybody. Take care. Okay, bye.